So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Today we welcome you back here at BSN Network. This is the BSN Network podcast here today. It is Friday, October 9th. Hope everybody's having a good day so far and a good rest of their day yesterday. I know I did. Hopefully you did as well, and I'm having a good day so far today. Yankees won yesterday. They are now moving on to a Game 5. Great pitching by Jordan Montgomery. Great hitting. Great all-around play for the New York Yankees. Boone doesn't make that stupid move in the beginning of the series. We got ourselves a series win, and we would have been moving on right now, but Boone makes that stupid move, and we are now sitting here Game 5 tonight. Garrett Cole pitching on short rest. I was wearing his jersey, but I took it off for the podcast. We'll be wearing it later. We'll put it on right after the podcast. Should be another good game. I'm very excited. Hopefully you are as well. Today is, in fact, a football Friday. We did just get breaking news a little bit ago that the New York Jets did get a positive case in the organization. So we don't know what's going to happen with them right now. It looks like there is a positive case with them. I'm going to go as planned and predict their game, preview their game as planned. If they don't play, they don't play. If they do, they do. Hopefully they do, but we're not 100% sure if that's going to happen. So we have to adapt to those games. We got the NFL games, we got fantasy football, and then the Yankees, MLB playoffs, college football, and then Clemson, Miami this weekend. Miami versus Clemson, another great game. I'm very, very, very excited for that game. That should be a very, 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 very good game. I think it's going to be, one of the better games we've seen all year so far. Number 7 Miami at number 1 Clemson. Miami coming off of a bye week, over under 61. Clemson are the favorites. I'm not denying that. It should be a good game, but it is going to be tough for Miami to win that game. So that what's on tap is NFL game picks as the Jets and the Giants. We'll be doing my own separate preview for them. Fantasy football overview, just kind of give you start them, sit them, players you could pick up, players you could add, players to drop, players to start, players to, if it's kind of a toss-up, questionable players, if they're going to play or not, kind of give you all that kind of stuff. Yankees, MLB playoffs, college football games, and Miami versus Clemson. We got that today as well. So that's what's on tap for a podcast. Like I always say, Friday podcasts are, in fact, packed. Friday podcasts are always packed. They're packed throughout the rest of the football season. We always got stuff to talk about on Friday. So another big sports day today. Got the Yankees on. Tomorrow's all the college football. Sunday's all football again. So another packed week of sports and another packed weekend of sports ahead of us. So should be very good. So with all that being said, this is the BSNR podcast, and let's get right into it. So this is week 5 of the NFL season. Yesterday I kicked it off with a loss on my game pick. Right now I'm standing at 46-19. I think overall on my game picks, which I don't think is bad. I think 46-19 is pretty good. I'm 27 games above 500. I'm, kind of in a situation where I would love to finish above 500 for the rest of the season. I would really have to mess up to finish below 500 this season. That could very well still happen. We still have, 11 more weeks to go of football. It is only week 5. We still have 11 more weeks to go. So, it could very well be, could very well turn into where I don't do good. So, but hopefully I do good and continue to pick the right games. Although last night I did get my pick wrong, as the Chicago Bears did in fact beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20-19. The Buccaneers made mistakes late, including one late by Tom Brady. Tom Brady made a mistake late, did not realize it was 4th down, and I was wondering why he made this throw. When you see this throw that he made, you are questioning why in the world an all-time great would make this throw. You knew something wasn't right. So it was 4th down and 5. They had the ball. He thought it was 3rd down. 2nd down, 3rd down. I'm pretty sure it's 3rd down, because then after that play was done, he held up 4 on his fingers like, it's 4th down, guys. Why is the kicking team coming on? Why is the Bears offense coming onto the field? It's 4th down. They had to go for it there. That ended up sealing the game. But anyway, you knew there was something wrong. You just knew this was not the play that Bruce Arians and that Buccaneers offense drew up. You just knew that couldn't be the case. And the reason I say that is because it was a 4th down and 5. They needed just to get 5 yards. and I think it was like just 4th down and 5 or whatever, and Brady threw it across the middle for a lot more than 5 yards, and he incompleted, threw it across the middle and double covered and was incomplete. Meanwhile, there was a guy underneath wide open, but it only would have been maybe to like 3-4 yards. Instead, he tried to air it out and try to get like 15-20 yards, missed it, and ended up losing the game due to that play. So the Buccaneers lost this game for a couple of main reasons. Mistakes late hurt the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's no other way of saying it. The Chicago Bears won because of mistakes late by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and there's not many other ways you could put it. The Chicago Bears won this game because of mistakes late. Also, the Chicago Bears won this game because there was, I would say, and I think you would say as well, that, the Bears had a decent offensive day. David Montgomery had a touchdown. Jimmy Graham had an insane one-handed grab. Allen Robinson had himself a pretty good day. 10 receptions, 90 yards, got me 9 points in fantasy. That's what he was projected to get me, 9 points. He got me 9 points, so I'm perfectly fine with it. The Bears offense played pretty well. I mean, they only scored 10 points. It is very odd a team who still doesn't really know who their starting quarterback is 4-1, because I'll tell you one thing, the Bears did not play their best football yesterday. It was not the most stellar performance. Nick Foles threw a touchdown and an interception. He endured 3 sacks and only had a QBR rating of 83.7. As for Brady, he went 1 touchdown, no interceptions, including a couple sacks late, and that's where the other mistakes come in too for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we'll get to the Chicago Bears performance in a second. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers situation was Brady got sacked a lot late, including 1 3rd down, threw the ball, had to rush his throw because he got sacked, threw to Evans, underthrew him, and it was an incomplete. They had I don't know if they settled for the field goal. They might have. I don't quite remember. But he did get hit. Brady was getting hit late in the game, and I actually think Khalil Mack, too, he had a big sack late in the game. I think that actually really got the Bears to where they won the game. The Bears won this game because of their defense. Their offense didn't play very well. Their offense wasn't stellar. Their offense wasn't amazing. Their offense wasn't anything they wanted their offense to be, but their defense was stellar. This is the Chicago Bears defense. This is the most Khalil Mack. This is the most normal we've seen Khalil Mack in a long time, right? Khalil Mack 2 years ago, face of the NFL. Everybody's talking about him. Was insane. Face of the franchise for the Bears. Sacking quarterbacks everywhere. Yesterday, he looked a lot like that Khalil Mack again. Same thing with that Chicago Bears defense. That year, they made the playoffs and lost because of the Cody Parkey double doink. That defense looked a lot like that year. This was the first time we saw that defensive front, those linebackers, those secondary really step up and make some big plays. Chicago Bears did win, and I think the key to this game was their defense. Late game plays, mistakes by the Buccaneers, misassignments. The Brady, miscommunication obviously on the 4th down. Then you had the sacks, right? The Bears defense forced those, but the offensive line had miscommunication those. There was a couple times where they just had let him go through the offense line, sacked Brady, and that is the one thing the Bears did. And I've always said this throughout. When I used to watch the Patriots in the Super Bowl, I would always say the key to the game is hit Brady. You hit Brady, it's almost a guarantee win. You want to know why? Brady gets mad, Brady gets angry, Brady gets uptight, gets angry, gets shaky, starts to just throw the ball everywhere. Then you end up winning the game due to that. That's what the Bears did last night. They were able to hit him. Maybe not a sack, maybe not all these sacks everywhere. They had 3 sacks. They didn't put up 6 or 7, but they were able to get pressure on him, and he was shaky in the pocket. And for a guy like Mike Evans who didn't get every single snap yesterday, the Bears defense was really able to control that game. So the Bears did win. I think their defense was a big part of it. The Bears win, Buccaneers lose. Brady threw the ball 41 times. Foles threw the ball 42. Foles went 30 of 42, 243 yards. 8.1 was his average. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 3 sacks, and a QBR of 83.7. Pretty good, like we said. It's kind of, everybody always says it was a good performance. It wasn't anything crazy, wasn't anything that's going to get you to it's not a Super Bowl, it's not an MVP performance. It's a Nick Foles performance. It's about average. Montgomery went 10 attempts, 29 yards, 1 touchdown. He didn't play, outside of the touchdown, he did not play very well. Robinson had another big day. He had 16 targets, 10 receptions, 90 yards. And this is where it's actually, if you go into the fantasy aspect of this game, this is where Robinson's big. This is why if you have an Allen Robinson like I do, this is where you really enjoy him having on your team, because I'll tell you why. Allen Robinson is a huge Foles to Allen Robinson. it's a very good connect. Trubisky to Robinson just wasn't working out. Once Foles took over, Robinson's stats, numbers have been increasingly better. They are the normal Allen Robinson numbers we're used to seeing. He had 16 targets yesterday. I think in the first 2 games he might not even had 16 targets. Yesterday he had 16 targets. Foles really gave the targets to Allen Robinson. Let's go through the targets for the receiving. 16, 3, 5, 8, 4, 5, 1. All those targets, he targeted Allen Robinson a ton yesterday. And they won. And then the Buccaneers, same thing here. Brady, 25 of 41, 253 yards, 10.1 his average. 1 touchdown, took 3 sacks, a rating of 86.7. Once again, not a bad performance, but wasn't enough to get the win. Ronald Jones, 17 attempts, 160 yards, 6.2 was his average. He's just an unbelievable player. He's really making a name for himself, not only on the Bears, or not only on the Buccaneers, but in all the NFL. People are starting to really take notice of how good he really can be. Evans had a decent day, 5 receptions, 9 targets, 41 yards, a touchdown. So he had a pretty good day. Ronald Jones, too, had a couple receptions. Brady actually spread out the love yesterday. 6 targets, 6 targets, 6 targets, 9 targets, 2 targets, 5 targets, 4 targets, 3 targets. It's not like the Bears where it was 16 targets, 3 targets, 5 targets, 4 targets, 5 targets, 1 target. Foles really leaned on Allen Robinson a lot in that game yesterday. Brady spreaded the ball out, which is normal for Brady to do. And also, Brady kind of had to spread the ball out because Evans was kind of playing with a little bit of an injury, so it wasn't like he could throw the ball 65% of the time to Evans. He kind of had to balance it out 50-50 because his best receiver wasn't there, and Godwin is out too, so he had to throw it to a lot of other guys, although Godwin's been out for... You talk about... I know I quickly changed there, but you talk about having a great year last year, shocking the league, and it has barely done anything this year. What has he played? 1 game and now is injured? Chris Godwin, man. Talk about, I'm not trying to say anything bad because I really think Chris Godwin's good, but he had a great year last year. It was unbelievable. You can make the argument he was one of the better receivers all year last year, and now this year he played 1 game, wasn't good, and has been injured since. You talk about a possible wonder. That could be one boiling, because he has not played much this year. Had a great year last year, and the rest of his first couple of years were nothing crazy. So, he's got to get things turned around too. If this Buccaneers team wants any shot to really make the playoffs, he's got to be healthy. Because, without him, it's Evans, and then that's the problem. That's the problem, because Gronk's not producing. Cameron Brate's had a couple. Actually, Cameron Brate, I should take that back. Cameron Brate's been pretty solid. Given that, there's been a lot of swirlings around why they have not gotten Cameron Brate the ball much. Cameron Brate makes a lot of the situation. If he gets the ball, he tries to do whatever he can. Even if it's getting the ball 3 times. One of those receptions would be a touchdown. He tries to do everything he can to earn a spot on that roster. So the Bears moved to a surprising 4-1, even though they had to bench their starting quarterback. And the Buccaneers fall to 3-2. Bears moved to 4-1. Bears are riding high right now. It's interesting because it's a short week. Let me go through this. So the Bears have been in, the past week for the Bears has been pretty crazy. Let's run through it really quickly. The last week and a half has been pretty crazy for the Bears. So they played the Falcons. They had to bench Trubisky, bring in Foles. Foles led them back to a comeback. That next week, they had to play the Colts. Foles looked lost, did not look good. Bears offense did not look good. Scored 11 points, including a touchdown late that didn't even matter. They lost that game. Then on a short week, they come back to play the Buccaneers. They're losing. And then they come back, make some big plays late. Brady makes a mistake. Tom Brady makes a mistake on a 4th down and 5, which is just not Tom Brady-like. Loses the game. Bears win. They're 4-1, and they had to bench their starting quarterback. The last week and a half for the Chicago Bears has been so crazy. Had to bench their starting quarterback, brought in Foles, led him to a comeback. Then the next game looked bad, almost to the point where we're bring Trubisky back in. Lost against the Colts. Short week this week. Stayed with Foles. Did not, played pretty well against the Buccaneers. Brady makes a mistake. They win. They're 4-1. Out of all the teams to say that they would be sitting here 4-1, the Chicago Bears would not be on my list if you would have told me they had to bench Mitchell Trubisky. And the Bears are 4-1. 4-1's 4-1. It doesn't matter how you get the 4-1, but it is a very definitely odd. You just would not expect the Chicago Bears, a team who had to bench their starting quarterback. Like the Redskins, they had to bench their starting quarterback and they're 1-3. Bears bench their starting quarterback and they're 4-1. Like Trubisky was getting them wins but they benched him. It's so odd. Like under Trubisky they were 2-0. Foles came in 1-1, lost, and now they're 4-1. Like it's just crazy. It really is. So the Bears win again, and I'll tell you what, 4-1's 4-1, but definitely odd to see the Bears at 4-1. So the Bears do in fact win. Now we move on to the NFL games this week. There are definitely some odd games. So teams that are not playing, I'm just going to clear out of the way if you do not know. If you're wondering why I'm not going to make that game pick today, Bills-Titans are playing on Tuesday. Patriots-Broncos are playing on Monday. And that's it. I'm pretty sure those are the only two teams. I think the Patriots-Broncos are playing on Monday. So, yeah, either way. So, so Giants, Cowboys obviously play this week and all these teams. So those are some interesting games. Like I said, the Jets did have a positive case. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to predict. I'm going to make my prediction for that game. I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win. If they play, they play. If they don't, they don't. It is what it is. So I'm not going to sit here and not give a prediction, have them play, and then you guys not know what my prediction was. Although you could probably know what my prediction already is going to be. I won't spoil it, but more than likely you know. If you watch the other podcast, you probably should know who I'm going to predict to win. But anyway, so I'm going to go with that game. Even though they more than likely have a positive case, it's not like completely confirmed yet because the player who tested positive, who they won't say their name, had to test again. And they're still waiting their results back. They said sometime today, which today is the day they test positive, Friday. So they said sometime today he should get this test back. So if he's positive, then this is where the Jets are actually a little lucky. This is where I actually have hope that this game's going to be able to be played because the Jets don't have to travel. So if the Jets had to travel, they would probably leave today, which means they would have to do some rapid testing and maybe leave tomorrow early in the morning, do more rapid testing. So now today the Jets were sent home, did the rest of today virtually. Now there's a possible chance of the Jets being able to, if they test negative again today, test negative tomorrow, test negative on Sunday, there's a chance they play still. The Jets are going to have to, if it's one positive test, the Jets are probably going to test again today. They'll definitely test tomorrow, and they might have to do where the player's inner circle was. They might have to test them twice. Then again on Sunday, test them, and then play their game on Sunday. Whatever the case may be, I'm just hoping they could squeeze this game out. They have a positive test 2 days before the game. Not ideal. But hopefully they can get this situation right. So I'm just going to predict who I think is going to win. And if they play, they play. If they don't, they don't. Hopefully they play, but I don't know. With the way the Titans were going, it started off as one positive test, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. And look where they're at now. So we'll see. But anyway, this is what I got for today's game picks. Let's start off. We got the Ravens and the Bengals. The Ravens come into this game 13-point favorites. The over-under is set at 51. You know me. I'm very high on the Cincinnati Bengals. I think this is a team that has a very bright future. I think Joe Burrow is going to be a stud in this league. I said it since day one. That's why I had him as number 1 on my draft board. I had him as number 1 as the best player in the NFL draft. He's shown why he is. Their record is not shown, and I've said this multiple times. I think the Bengals are a lot better than 1-2-1 is what their record shows. But the Ravens, I do think they won last week. They won pretty easily. They did what a lot of people expected them to do. They beat the Redskins. And to be honest, I think the Ravens go on and win this game. I understand I'm big into the Bengals. I just think at the end of the day, the Bengals defense is too weak for this Ravens offense. When they catch fire, they can be very good. One key I want to see the Ravens do, I want to see them get involved. I want to see them get Marquise Hollywood Brown involved. He's been quiet all season long. I want to see them get him involved because he has not been getting involved. Lamar Jackson's thrown to a ton of other players. Lamar Jackson did not show up to practice, which means there's a chance I think their backup quarterback plays, which at the moment I think is Trace McSorley. I'm not sure though. But I still do think the Ravens win this game. It's going to be interesting. I don't know without Jackson, I don't know what's going to happen. He stopped going to practice. I still do think they win this game. The over-under is 51. I take the under on that. I think they win 35-24. Or actually, no, 35... Yeah, 35-24. I think it's going to be a closer game than what people think. 35-24, and I'll actually take the over on the over-under of 51. Bet Ravens win. Bills-Titans, obviously, like I just said, that is playing being played on Tuesday, so I'll preview that game then. Next up, we got the Steelers coming off of a bye week, an unexpected bye week, and they're playing the division-leading Eagles. Would never thought I would be saying that, although it is the NFC, so I guess anything's possible in that division. The Steelers come in 7-point favorites. Over/under is 44.5. I know a lot of people, and I know this for a fact, a lot of people are hyping up the Eagles after their win yesterday because their win against the 49ers on Sunday night, because they did show a lot of positive stuff. They showed a lot of good stuff. Wentz played pretty well. Their offense played well. Defense played well. Overall, they played very well. I think some people are getting hyped up and being like, this is the Eagles team we all expected to see. I don't think that's the case. I think the Steelers win this game pretty comfortably. I understand the Seahawks mojo might have been, kicked off. They were preparing for the Titans, then it got postponed, then they have to prepare for it's almost like they had to prepare for two teams. They haven't even played a game yet. So I don't think the Steelers might show little signs of rust because they did have that unexpected bye week. Maybe the first quarter might be a little rusty for them, although this should be expected in a season like this where you're going to expect to hit some roadblocks, and the Steelers did that, and they did handle it pretty well. And now they have to play the Eagles, and they have to play 11 straight or whatever, 12 straight games the rest of the season here to finish up the season. So I do think it's going to be interesting, but I think they win. I think the Steelers win this game. I think it might be a little closer than what people think. I think the Steelers do cover. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I don't know if it's going to be, 28 points. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Steelers will win pretty big. I think the Steelers win 28-10. I'm going to say they win this game, 28-10, and I'll take the under on the over-under. And I know you might be saying 28-10. What are you talking about? If you've seen the Steelers' defense, that's why I have them 28-10. Next up, we got the Texans and the Jaguars. This is another interesting game. Texans fire their head coach. Are they going to build momentum off of it? What are they going to do? Texans come into this game 5.5-point favorites. Over-under is 54.5. I think the Texans win this game. And this is one of the things I've always been a believer in. When teams fire their head coach, I believe the players get hyped. They almost get to the point where they want to show people it was the head coach, because a lot of players, including J.J. Watt, which is more is being released from that story every day. J.J. Watt and Bill O'Brien never got along. J.J. Watt wanted Bill O'Brien out a long time before he was fired. They finally fired him. I feel like the Texans might get on a little bit of a streak here. I'm not saying they're going to win 12 straight, make it to the Super Bowl, and win it all, but they might be able to get on a little bit of a consistent winning streak. You got to look. This game's definitely a winnable game. Next week's definitely, it's going to be tough next week, but next week could also be a very winnable game because they are playing the Tennessee Titans, and the Tennessee Titans are coming off of not playing for 2 weeks and then playing on Tuesday and then having to come out and play again on Sunday. The Titans might show some signs of rust against them, so there's a chance the Texans get on a little bit of an extended streak here. I do think the Texans win. I know I'm pretty high in the Jaguars' offense. I think their offenses surprised a lot of us. Laviska Shenault, DJ Chark's back this week. I know a lot of people are talking a lot about him. He had a big week last week, back again this week. Gardner Minshew, James Robinson's been one of the bigger surprises in all the league. He's been putting up big numbers at the running back position. I think the Texans still win this game. I think it's actually a pretty high-scoring game. I think the Texans win 31-28. I think it's going to be a relatively close game. We'll put it 35-28. I think they relatively close game, and I take the over on the over-under of 54.5. Next up, we got the Falcons and the Panthers. Falcons come into this game 1.5-point favorites. Panthers are over-under is 54. I'm still not incredibly bought on this whole Panthers thing. Panthers start off slow. They win 2 straight. Everybody says, they get McCaffrey back. They can make a run. I'm not bought on that all. I just don't know. I know Robbie Anderson's been playing well. Something about the Falcons. I think they're a lot better than I think what their record shows. And I know that might sound outrageous, but you look at what the numbers they've been able to put up. Todd Gurley's been putting up big numbers. Matt Ryan's put up big numbers. Ridley's put up big numbers. Julio Jones put up big numbers. They've had a lot of guys on offense that have put up incredibly good numbers. But they just can't. Their defense. It's just their defense. So I actually do think the Falcons win this game. I'm not incredibly bought on this whole Panthers thing yet. If they win 3-4 straight games, then I'll be like, okay, maybe. But I'm not incredibly bought in this jump on the Teddy Bridgewater, DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey bandwagon train and ride it with us all the way to the Super Bowl. I'm not incredibly bought on that. I think the Falcons are a lot better than 0-4. Than what the record shows. Do I think they're a top 10 team? No. Do I think they're bottom 25 of the league? Yes, because they can't finish off games. I just think it's their defense. Their offense is good. Ridley, Julio Jones, Todd Gurley, Matt Ryan. Their offense has been good. Matt Ryan's been surprisingly good. And it's just their offense. Bad play calling, bad decision making. It's their defense that's the problem. I do think the Falcons win this game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. 38-35 Falcons win. I take the over on the over-under of 54. Next up, we got the Chiefs and the Raiders. Chiefs and the Raiders. Chiefs come in 12-point favorites. Over-under is 55.5. Once again, I'm pretty short with the Chiefs picks. I understand the Raiders are, still people believe in them. Darren Waller, Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs. People still believe in them. I don't believe in them. I'm not saying that I don't believe, meaning I think they're going to lose the rest of their games of the season. I'm not so bought into this, Raiders are making the playoff. John Gruden's going to do this, and this season. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to win. They're going to win. They're going to win. The Kansas City Chiefs will win. They'll move to 5-0. It is what it is. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire on defense, Tyrann Mathieu, Chris Jones, Frank Clark. One more has to be said. It's the Kansas City Chiefs, period. They win this game. What's the score? 12-point favorites. 50 over under 55. I'd say the Chiefs win. Obviously, like I always say, I think the Chiefs win. We'll give it the Chiefs win. 35-17 Chiefs win. So that would mean I would take the 35-17. 35 plus 10 is 45 plus 7. That's 52. So that means I would take the under on the over-under 55. Chiefs win. Next up, we got the Rams and the Redskins. Rams come into this game following a not easy win against the New York Giants. Definitely made things interesting late there. Rams are 7.5-point favorites. Over-under is 46.5. I think the Rams will bounce back on offense. I think they'll win. I think they'll win even more of a reason. Kyle Allen starting their third string. He was their second string quarterback. Now he's starting. Alex Smith is the backup. Dwayne Haskins is now their third string. It's just one of those things where you just think that the Rams are going to win this game. Quarterback change midweek. You're 1-3. You've done a lot of flipping and flopping midweek. Kyle Allen's not going to go out there and get you a big win. I just don't think he will. And if he does, this could be the spark that the Redskins need. But I don't see it happening. I think the Rams win this game pretty easily, as a matter of fact. I think the Rams win this game very, very easy. I think they pop off big time. I think they win 31-10. I just don't think they're going to be able to generate enough offense. And I take the under on the over-under 46.5. I just don't think the Redskins are going to generate enough offense. I don't think Kyle Allen's going to go out there and throw 5 touchdowns for you guys. So I think the Rams win. Next up, we got the Dolphins and the 49ers. I say that the 49ers are coming off of a very bad loss. 9-point favorites, over under 51.5. A lot of people think this could very well be the game Tua makes his debut. If through for 2 quarters they're down by 3, Tua comes in, there's a chance, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I do think the 49ers will win, and I think they win pretty big. I know everybody's talking about this whole 49ers season crumbling down, this Super Bowl team crumbling down. I was never a whole full-on believer of this 49ers team being the next big thing in the NFL. But I'm not to the point now where I think that they're going to not make the playoffs this year. They might not, but I think they win. It's the Dolphins. They're 1-3. I don't see why the 49ers would mess up on this game and lose. It's not like they should be looking ahead for any reason. I mean, next week they play the Rams. Actually, there is a chance they could be looking ahead. But I think they win this game pretty smoothly. I think they win. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game. They did not generate much offense last week. Don't think they're going to do the same this week. I think they win 24-14, and I take the under on the over-under of 51.5. Next up, we got the Patriots and the Broncos. That will also be played on Monday. Next up, we got the Browns and the Colts. 47.5 is the over-under. Colts come into this game 1.5-point favorites. I was sold on the Colts for a long time there. I was big on them. I predicted them to win a lot of these games. I predicted them to win last week and all that. I was never sold on the Cleveland Browns, predicting them to lose all their games so far this season, I'm pretty sure. I am now starting to say that the Cleveland Browns are a competitive football team. They are a pretty good team. Do I think they're a Super Bowl contender? What a lot of Browns fans think? No. But they did play very well last week against a very bad defense. They are playing against a very, very, very good defense. And that's the whole thing, right? The Browns have played very, 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 very well against very, very bad defenses. Look who they've played well against. They've played well against the Bengals, bad defense. They played well against the The Cowboys, bad defense. They've played well against a lot of bad defensive teams. They're running into a good defense this week against the Colts. Colts have very well one of the better defenses in all of the league this year. A lot of people believe in that, and I think that could very well be true. But with that being said, I do think the Browns win. I've seen a lot of positive out of this offense. I've seen a lot of good out of this offense. I mean, they almost put up 50 points. No matter what defense you're going up, they scored one less than 50 points last week. You put up 50 points, you got to deserve a little bit of a clap there, a little bit of applause. So I do think they actually do win this game, the Cleveland Browns do. I think it's going to be very high. I think it's going to be a decently scoring game. I think the Browns win 28-24. I think it's going to be a very close game. And I take the under on the over-under of 47.5. Browns win. Next up, Giants-Cowboys. We'll preview that game. Then we move to the Seahawks-Vikings. Vikings 1-3. They won last week. I don't think they're going to continue it. Over-under 54. I think the Seahawks win. I think they win big. I think it's going to be the final score is going to be 35-21. I think they win. I'll take the over on the over-under of 54. I'll take just the over there. 35-21. I think it's going to be 56. So I'll take the over on you. Actually, 56. Technically the under because it's 56.5. So I'll be right on there, the over-under. So the Seahawks, I do think, win. So here are my winners for this week. I got the Ravens winning, the Steelers winning, the Texans winning, the Falcons winning, the Chiefs winning, the Rams winning, the 49ers winning, the Browns winning, and the Seahawks winning. Now we move on to the Jets and the Giants games. Jets play 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. The Cardinals come into this game 7-point favorites. Over/under is 47. It is just one of these games where I don't think the Jets win again. I just don't. I think the Jets, they're starting Joe Flacco. Sam Darnold's out with the sprained shoulder. They're starting Joe Flacco, although the Jets are getting Le'Veon Bell back. I think they will rely on him a lot in the run game, so I do think this is actually a big game for Le'Veon Bell. This is a chance for Le'Veon Bell to prove himself that he should stay with the New York Jets because I think, they're going to be running with him a lot. I don't think you're going to see Joe Flacco throw 40 times this game. I don't think you're going to see him throw 40 times and connect on 35 of them. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think Flacco won't have a very good game. It could have turned into a Josh McCown situation where we're talking about, Joe Flacco actually did well for us. Josh McCown was doing pretty well for us. I don't think that's going to be the situation. I just don't think Joe Flacco does it. I think the Jets get absolutely blown out at home this week. I know a lot of people talk about all the positives we had from last week. There wasn't many positives last week. We lost. We really hurt ourselves with penalties. Defense was undisciplined. Stupid plays late in the game. I think the Cardinals win this game big. Kyle Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, Larry Fitzgerald, Kenyon Drake. Just too much firepower on offense. The Jets' defense has not been the same. Whoever is going to be on DeAndre Hopkins is going to have their handful. I don't know who it's going to be, but they're going to have their handful. They run a lot of pass plays, a lot of deep ball plays, and the Jets' secondary just not going to be able to handle it all. I think the Cardinals win this game big. I think they win 35-7. I just don't think the Jets get much offense going here, and I take the under on the over-under of, 35-10. I'll give the Jets a field goal. 35-10, I think they lose. I don't know. This offense, I know the Cardinals' offense has been very slow these past couple of weeks. I just don't see them winning this week. I think the Cardinals win 38. We'll give it 38-10. Cardinals win. 35-10. It doesn't matter. We'll just give it 35-10. I take the over on the over-under 47. Cardinals win. Jets lose again. Now we move on down to the Cowboys and the Giants game. I know a lot of people are talking about the Cowboys defense, and I've been a chatter of that too. I've been a believer that I think this Cowboys team could very well be the worst defense in all the NFL. Cowboys come into this game 8.5-point favorites. Over-under is 54. 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This game is on. Everybody's talking about the Cowboys defense. Has anybody talked about the Giants offense? They have not scored a touchdown in 2 straight games. No matter what defense they're playing, the Giants cannot put up offense. I think the Cowboys win big in this game. Dak has another big game. Zeke has another big game. And the two main New York football teams, the Jets and the Giants, will move to 0-10 combined. I think they'll both be 0-5 after this week. I just think that's just going to be the case. I don't think the Giants win. I think the Cowboys win. I mean, Dak Prescott threw for 500 yards the other day. Did you see that? Nobody's talking about that. A lot of people are just talking about their defense. Would you appreciate the fact that Dak Prescott threw for 501 yards? Zeke had another good game. I think the Cowboys win this game big. Giants defense is good. Bradbury is really their only their only very good cornerback. The Cowboys have 3 very good receivers. The Giants do not have 3 very good cornerbacks. Cowboys have 3 very good receivers. Gallup, Cooper, CeeDee Lamb. where are you going to put the rest of their corners on them? Logan, maybe Logan Ryan and Amari Cooper, field day. Whoever's on Cooper, whoever on Lamb, it's going to be a tough combo because Lamb's really been picking it up of late. I think the Cowboys win this game big. I think they win 35-7. I just don't think the Giants offense is going to get any production. 35-7. Actually, I think the Giants pick it up a little bit. Maybe 35-17. And I think the Cowboys cover. I think that they win 35-17. Over-under is 54, 35-17, that's 45, plus 7, that's 52. Take the under on the over-under, 54, Cowboys win. So, now, let me just run through all my picks again. So we'll go, I have the Jets for the Jets-Cardinals game and the Giants-Cowboys game. You obviously know I have the Cardinals winning and the Cowboys winning. Jets and Giants losing both games. Obviously, you know me, I always have the Jets losing. So these are my picks for this week. Ravens winning, Steelers winning, Texans winning, Falcons winning, Chiefs winning, Rams winning, 49ers winning, Browns winning. Obviously, I already said the Cowboys, Seahawks winning. So let me just run through it one more time. Ravens winning, Steelers winning, Texans winning, Falcons winning, Chiefs winning, Rams winning, 49ers winning, Browns winning, Seahawks winning. Those are my game picks for this week. Should be another big week of football. Should be another exciting week of football. I'm excited. Hopefully you are as well. Coming up next, Fantasy. Alrighty, so fantasy football. So, yesterday, I had two players from two different leagues play yesterday. I had Allen Robinson for my one league, and I had Mike Evans for my other league. Mike Evans got me 10 points. Allen Robinson got me 9 points. Two good games. I'll take it. Definitely, 9 points. I'll take it. A decent lead for the decent lead for me. I'm 9 points, and my opponent this week does not have their stars in. Does not have Henry in because they're playing Tuesday, but does not have Henry in. Does not have Diggs in. And does not have Singletary in or McCaffrey, but McCaffrey's on IR, so that makes sense why he doesn't have him in. Although they're gonna play on Tuesday, did not put him in. You really can't. You really can't trust all that though. But yeah, so he's gonna be without a couple of those players. Now this is his line. This is my lineup I'm working with. Obviously, I already had Allen Robinson play. Yesterday I already had Allen Robinson play. He got me 9 points, 10 receptions, 90 yards. He was projected to get 9 points, and he got me 9 points. Projected to get me 9.4 points. He got me 9 points. Another good game for Allen Robinson. He's really finding targets. He catches some of the other balls he gets. That could be an extra couple points, but was not able to convert on the touchdown. I was rooting hard for him to get a touchdown. He scores a touchdown. That's 15 points right there. That is huge. 9 points, I'll take it. I would have much loved 15, but, I'm happy with 9 points, especially he had a slow start. I think in the first quarter he had First quarter, he might have been done with 1 point. In between Yankee commercial breaks, I would check on fantasy, and it was seeing he had 0 points. And I was like, he's active, right? He didn't get injured. And he said he was active and all that. I was like, what's happening? He's just not getting the ball. Sure enough, he started turning up. It's almost like he heard me. He started turning up and played really well. So this is my lineup for my one league that I have Allen Robinson in. This is the league I'm rocking in right now. I'm 2-2 right now. I got Matt Ryan at quarterback, Elliott at running back, Carson at running back, Schuster at wide receiver, Robinson, I already said, played already, he's a wide receiver, Kittle at tight end, Gurley at running back, which is the flex, Gurley at flex, Rams defense, obviously at defense, and then Butker at kicker. My bench is Adams, Moore, Ertz, Johnson, Bills defense, Robert Woods, and Rodgers. And I'm projected 117.7 points, so I'm projected to win 117 to 102. It's interesting. Hopefully I can get all 117 of those points. Dropped a little bit after Allen Robinson's 9-point game. I'm sure if he would have got me some more points, that would have been interesting. Ronald Jones yesterday had a pretty good game. I did say if you wanted to, you could pick him up. I did not, but he definitely had a good game. He had 17 attempts for 106 yards and 12 points. He had another nice day for Ronald Jones. Just guys dominating right now. Some guys you could pick up off of waivers. In my other league, I made a waiver claim, but I picked up a guy on waivers. But these are some of the players you could pick up. Wide receivers. If Will Fuller's out there in your league and you're in a situation like I am where you need to put on a backup, Adams is not playing. If you're in a situation like that, Will Fuller could be an option. Will Fuller has had 2 back-to-back very good weeks. He had 11 points, then 16 points. So he has had 2 back-to-back really, really, really good weeks. His first week of the season, he had 11 points. The next week, he had 0 points. Now it's 11 and 16 points. So Fuller's making the most of his time with the Texans because obviously when Hopkins was there, Fuller was kind of got lost. Now Fuller's stepping up to that number 1 receiver role, and he's been doing pretty good, I would say, in that number 1 receiving role. So, Fuller could be an option. Terry McLaurin, he's definitely an option. He's one of the more, he's very good at receiver. And Odell Beckham, too. He's got 9.3 points. He's projected in my league. He's questionable. I would not recommend picking him up, but he is a player if he's on waiver wire and you're in dire need of a player. It all depends on what you really want to do. If you want to go to running back wise, in my league, for my bench, for example, if you're in a situation like I am, David Johnson or Todd Gurley or something like that, I would personally go with the Todd Gurley. David Johnson's playing against Jacksonville. The strength of their team is in the defense. A couple good guys up front. Josh Allen up front can cause some chaos. And I think that definitely goes to show. That definitely shows for what he's done so far with that team. I'm this week personally starting George Kittle over Zach Ertz. I always do that, but I would start Kittle. I have Schuster in. I know a lot of people might not put him in just because they just might not. I put Schuster in. I was contemplating a little bit. Woods playing against Redskins, not a good secondary, not a good defense, or Schuster against the Eagles, who are in the same situation. Better defense, but I went with Schuster. I just think he's over the wall, the better player. Kicker, Butker. Defense, I went Rams. I just think they're going to have a pretty good day against the Redskins. I just don't know if the Redskins are going to be able to get much offense going. So I do think the Rams win there. Elliott and Carson, my normal guys, starting them like I always do. I'm not going to bench any of them, and there's no need to bench Elliott. The only way I would bench Elliott is if the rest of the season gets 0 points every single game. I would always going to start Elliott, so that's why I would play him. Elliott's averaging 16 points a game, so definitely good there. Those are kind of just it is. These are my players: Matt Ryan, Elliott, Carson, Schuster, Robinson, Kittle, Gurley, Rams defense, Butker. That's my starting lineup. Now for my other league. A lot of people have the start of the week being Deshaun Watson. They just think Bill O'Brien fired. Will Fuller's catching some fire there. I think Deshaun Watson's going to have a good week. Mike Evans already played. He got me 10 points. I'm projected to win in this league 107-103, so hopefully I can get all 107 of those points. I'm 2-2 in this league as well. This is my record, or this is my team: Watson, Drake, Robinson, Hill, Evans, Allen, Henry, Gibson, Rams defense, and Rodrigo Blankenship. I put him in because Matt Prater was struggling and he had a bye week. My bench is Zach Ertz, T.Y. Hilton, Drew Brees, Steelers defense, Jerick McKinnon. My newest waiver wire add was DJ Chark. I just added him actually a couple hours before I did the podcast. I added him. I'm very active on fantasy, so I added him. I was looking at his upcoming schedule, right, and I noticed he's playing Houston this week, decent defense. Next week he plays Detroit, bad defense. Then he has a bye. Then he plays Chargers, not a great defense, right? So I think the upcoming weeks for Chark, the next 3 to 4 weeks, could be pretty good for DJ Chark. Kept him in, especially if T.Y. Hilton continues not to produce. I just don't know if it's going to be possible if he's going to be able to do good. And, coming up, though, T.Y. Hilton does have a couple of games where this will be the true teller. He does have a couple games where he plays against some bad defenses. Cleveland, good defense, but then he plays Cincinnati, bye week, Detroit. So he does have some bad defenses coming up. I really like the matchups on DJ Chark with the cornerbacks. I picked him up. I'm still debating on whether to put in Antonio Gibson this week or DJ Chark. I have Rams defense in and Antonio Gibson. They're playing each other, but I don't know what I'm going to do there. I'm starting Hunter Henry at the moment for the Saints game on Monday night. But Zach Ertz, he did not do well last week. Hunter Henry, did not do well either last week. But I think Ertz is playing a better defense than New Orleans defense. I just think that's how it is. Maybe a little bit better of a defense. I also have Keenan Allen there too. So if I'm down by 10 on the final on Monday going into Monday night, I know I still have 2 players to go. So that should be interesting. James Robinson still starting him. He's been working up some magic. Same thing with Tyreek Hill and Kenyon Drake and Deshaun Watson. Breeze has been struggling. Watson's been doing good. So I'm sticking with Watson. Watson's been struggling a little bit, but I think he'll be able to turn it around a little bit. And in my other league, obviously I have Ryan and Elliott and all them playing. So that's kind of fantasy for you. A couple of those players, if you want to add them, you don't have to add them, but those are kind of just advice if you want it. I know not everybody will take it, but if you want the advice, it is there for you to grab. So should be a pretty interesting should be another interesting day, weekend of football. So should be exciting. So now we move on to the Yankees game tonight. Yankees versus the Tampa Bay Rays. Game 5 of this series. It all comes down to this. Winner go home for both teams today, not just the New York Yankees. This is the winner go home for both teams. Yesterday, the Yankees won 8-4. Yesterday, the Yankees won, not 8-4, sorry, I was looking at the wrong thingy. Yesterday, the Yankees won 5-1. Overall, we played a very good game. Jordan Montgomery pitched amazing. Jordan Montgomery did everything we needed him to do. I mean, he did. I mean, Jordan Montgomery did everything we needed him to do. He went a strong couple of innings. We went to the bullpen, had a good outing out of the bullpen. 1 run total scored. Montgomery did everything we needed to do. Monty pitched good. Hitting was amazing. Another nice game by Stanton. Voit had a nice hit. Oh, that's what. Torres had an absolute bomb. He played very well. Dodgers won as well. Braves won. Astros won. So this is the updated bracket right now. At this very moment, this is what the bracket's looking like. It's the ALCS is the Astros versus whoever wins the Yankees-Rays series. NLCS is the Braves, and I have to add the Dodgers because I was doing this last night, and I went and I did not put the Dodgers down yet. So this is all right. So this is what it's looking like right now. So it is the so this is what it's looking like. So the ALCS is the Astros versus whoever wins the Yankees-Rays series, which is final games tonight. Then we have the Braves and the Dodgers and the Braves in the NLCS. So that series will start up as well. So that's the updated bracket for you. Obviously, I do my own bracket, and I do a bracket to keep track of it all. So that is the updated bracket for you. Hitting's been dominant. So anyway, Yankees now play tonight. Cole's on the mound versus Tyler Glasnow. Tyler Glasnow is going to be used more as an opener, 7:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. It all comes down to this. It is the winner-go-home game tonight. Yankees-Rays, go Yankees. I think the Yankees win. I'm optimistic that Cole is going to come out and pitch again. This is why we paid $324 million for him, is for situations like this. For pitching on short rest, for pitching in elimination games, for pitching in games that mean a lot, for pitching in games that could very well get you to the next series or send you home. That's why we got him. I think he's going to live up to the hype, and I think Cole will do well. I think we win 4-3. I think it's going to be one of these more low-scoring games. We haven't really seen that this series. We saw it kind of yesterday, 5-1. I think that might have been one of the lower over-unders season so far in the series. That only 6 runs scored combined. Some days both teams scored more than 6 runs. But I think the Yankees win tonight. I just think they do. I'm just optimistic that Cole's going to pitch well and that he's going to play well. And I think the Yankees win 4-3. If Cole can do what Monty did last night, I would be perfectly fine with that. Pitch very well. Cole could pitch very well. If Cole can give us, he might not give us 7 innings because he's pitching on short days rest. But if Cole can give us like what Montgomery did, not what Davy Garcia did, please Boone, do not take out Cole and bring in Happ. But if he can do almost like what Monty did last night, pitch 5 strong innings, and do what he can do, that would be very, very, very good for the New York Yankees. I would be very, very excited about that because I really do truly think he ain't going to give us maybe 8 innings, But he might give us 5-6 innings because he is pitching on short days rest. So go Yankees. I do think they'll win. Hopefully he can give us some length and give us like 5-6 innings, 7 innings maybe or so. So now I move on to college football. Yes. College football. Clemson, Miami-Clemson plays today. We'll talk about that in just a second. But these are the games coming up this weekend. Louisiana's postponed. Appalachian State postponed. Louisiana, Coastal Carolina is also postponed. So these are the games coming up this weekend. Texas A&M, Florida. Got Florida winning. LSU, Missouri. LSU winning. Texas, Oklahoma. This is the Red River Showdown. This should be a very good game. Over under 72.5. I know Oklahoma struggled a lot, but Texas hasn't been playing very, 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 very well either. I actually give Oklahoma the win here. I understand they had 2 bad upsets, but I think with the Red River Showdown, they'll be able to get back on the right track. I think Oklahoma wins. Virginia Tech, North Carolina, give North Carolina the win. Tennessee, Georgia the win. Iowa State, Texas Tech, Iowa State the win. BYU, UTSA, BYU the win. Auburn, Arkansas, Auburn the win. Alabama, Mississippi State, Alabama the win. Notre Dame, Florida State, Notre Dame win. And then, yeah. This LSU game, is that still on? It might be. I don't know. Oh, yeah, it might be. I don't know. I know because I know the Saints in the games. Oh, by the way, for the NFL, we'll preview the Bills-Titans game on Tuesday, Patriots-Broncos game on Monday, and then the Chargers-Saints game also on Monday. Just telling you that. So now we move on to the big game tomorrow. Over-under of 61. Number 7, Miami. Number 1, Clemson. 14.5-point favorites at Clemson are. As much as I really like Miami and I really want them to win, I hope they win. I hope I'm wrong with this pick I'm making. I don't know. I think Trevor Lawrence and this Clemson offense is just going to be too much to overpower them. I do think Clemson wins. Hopefully I'm wrong by picking this. I think Clemson wins 42-35. And I take the over on the over-under of 61. And they win 42-35. I know Miami's defense has played very well, but this is Clemson's offense. I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. I think Clemson wins. Although I want Miami to win, I think Clemson wins. So hopefully I'm wrong with this pick. Go Miami, go Yankees, and go Jets this weekend. That should be a lot of fun. Those are my picks for all the games today. So enjoy the rest of your day and weekend. Obviously tonight, Yankees game on. Tomorrow, college football. Sunday, start of the ALCS and football. So enjoy another weekend packed of sports, another weekend packed of football, and tonight with baseball. So with all that being said, that's what I'll do. That's it for the podcast today. Enjoy your weekend again. Another packed sports weekend. A lot of football on. So that should be good. Yankees play tonight. Should be exciting. So everybody enjoy your weekend. I'll see you all back here on Monday. As you all know, I take breaks on the weekend. So I'll see you all back here on Monday. Hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for watching.